Now at 5, bitter cold today. We're in the teens and low 20s, but this time tomorrow, 10 to 15 degrees warmer.
Signing his first executive orders as Indiana governor, we have the new laws that will be impacting you. Also, how they'll impact diversity, equity, and inclusion in Indiana state government.
And remembering a 14-year-old girl. Tonight, how family and friends will honor the life of a young lady who was shot and left to die in the snow. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
It's 5 o'clock. We've been stuck in the teens all day, but finally looking ahead, there's some hope for the temperatures to finally climb above freezing.
Yeah.
Angela's tracking the impact that the weather's having across central Indiana. I'm Anne Marie. Felicia is off. Scott's in for her.
Yep, we do have the temperature climb that we'll talk about, but we also have some snow in there as well, don't we?
Don't you want to talk about the good news first?
Oh, of course.
Always.
Okay, well, let's start with the good news first. Temperatures the next several days will be in the 30s as we get a chance to thaw out. Don't look past, Sunday, because we do have more cold air headed our way, but this is the good news. We're going to get a few days to thaw out. Scott mentioned the snow chance. Yes, we've got a few snow showers in our forecast for our Thursday. We enjoyed the sunshine today. Clouds starting to thicken just a bit. You can see that over Morris Reservoir where it's 17, 20 Noblesville, 20 Indianapolis, 18 Greensburg, 18 Connorsville, and we're at 19 degrees in Crawfordsville. Clouds on the increase in advance of that snow chance tomorrow. Wind chills right now still running in the single digits for a lot of locations, so continue to take precautions from the cold. But temperatures, well, we're going to drop a few degrees the next several hours, and then those numbers will actually start to climb overnight. Not nearly as cold out the door tomorrow morning. Temperatures at the bus stop will be 20 to 25, and we will go up from there, forecasting highs in the low 30s. A few snow showers around. I'll have that timeline for you in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
We'll check back. Thanks, Angela. In the meantime, you can keep track of the changing forecast on our app. Just download the Live Doppler 13 weather app in your phone's app store, and once you get there, you can check out the weather blog.
Tonight at 5, there are several new laws impacting Hoosiers following Governor Mike Braun's first executive orders. They include the elimination of the diversity, equity, and inclusion in state government.
Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker was in the governor's office as he signed those orders today, and she joins us now to share what this will mean for Hoosiers.
Well, Governor Braun has long said that he wants to run Indiana like a business. He's a businessman, after all. He says today's executive orders follow a theme of providing government that's more efficient, accountable, and transparent. If you work for the state and work remotely, it's time to come back to the office. Governor Braun signed an order Wednesday requiring all state employees to be back working in person by July 1st. And like with anything, Braun said there might be some exceptions.
We believe in the value of in-person collaboration and believe this will foster a stronger, more connected state workforce.
When it comes to working for the state, Braun signed another executive order that calls for examining all positions to see if a degree is necessary to be hired. Hiring managers will also be encouraged to prioritize skill and work experience over a college degree.
I can tell you in the enterprise I ran for 37 years, some of our best employees were just good at what they wanted to come and do for you.
Braun said the move will attract a wider pool of talented Hoosiers who want to work for the state. Another executive order calls for state agencies to examine the requirements to get a professional license in Indiana, reducing those requirements when possible.
They're important to make sure there's a certain standard. When they become overbearing, they start to exclude.
The order wouldn't apply to jobs essential to public safety, like law enforcement, healthcare providers, or Hoosiers who work in emergency services. Governor Braun says he'll also be directing state agencies to look at their policies to make sure they align with a 2023 Supreme Court ruling that decided race-conscious college admission policies violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
Replacing DEI in government with MEI, merit, excellence, in innovation.
Under this order, the Braun administration has closed the state's Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Office, an office created by then Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb in 2020. Under this order, no state agency can require diversity, equity, and inclusion training. State employees are also not required to disclose their pronouns. UIndy political science professor Dr. Laura Merrifield Wilson says Wednesday's executive orders tackle issues we didn't hear a lot during Braun's campaign for governor.
And it's not talking about property tax or about healthcare. So on one hand, while they're certainly important and they fit where he stands ideologically, I think they're important for Hoosiers to pay attention to because these weren't necessarily the political talking points they heard so much during the campaign. And yet they set that tone for what we can expect to see in the next 4 years with the Braun administration.
Something else you can expect to see in the coming days, Governor Braun's budget proposal. He's set to release details of it tomorrow at the State House. Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
And just a few minutes ago, Indiana Senate Democrats issued a statement that denounces the governor's elimination of DEI initiatives.
Senate Minority Leader Shelley Yoder says in part that eliminating these programs is more than a misstep. It's a deliberate choice to ignore what makes Indiana stronger and more competitive.
Today, Governor Braun also directed that flags be flown at full staff statewide on Inauguration Day, January 20th. This is for President-elect Donald Trump's swearing in. The flags will then be flown back at half staff for the remainder of the month. This is a tribute in honor of former President Jimmy Carter, who died last month. Also at the State House today, Safe and Regulated Indiana held a press conference. They held this to talk about legalizing marijuana in Indiana. And some of those who spoke say that they've changed their position to regulated use for Hoosiers. Emily was at that presser as well today, and she's going to share some of their reasons for backing the push to legalize it here in the state of Indiana, as our coverage from the State House continues here on 13 News, straight ahead at 6 o'clock.
Happening now at 5, friends and family are now coming together on the south side of Indianapolis to remember the life of this 14-year-old girl.
Police found 14-year-old Deandra Clay Staples' body in the snow this past weekend after they say that someone shot and killed the teen. And now those who love her are getting together at a place where she died, all to honor her young life. That's where we find our Logan Gay joining us live tonight.
And Logan's there ahead of this balloon release at Laurelwood Apartments. Logan?
Hey Scott, that balloon release for 14-year-old Deandra Staples is supposed to start here soon, and it's happening at the very same spot where her body was found. You can see a small memorial has started to grow behind me. Police said that Deandra was shot and later found dead, lying in the snow this weekend, sometime around 11 a.m. Her friends and family were asked to bring blue, pink, and purple balloons in her honor. Her family recently told us Deandra was small but had a big personality, and she was also a dancer. According to her family, the last time they saw her, she had left with a group of kids, and so far, no arrests have been made. Police are asking anyone who may know anything to come forward. So tonight at 11, I'll share more information about what happened here at this balloon release and a message from the family to the community. Scott, Ann.
All right, Logan Gay reporting live for us. We'll see you tonight at 11. Tonight, an attempted robbery suspect is now in critical condition after a shooting in a parking lot at Traders Point Shopping Center. Metro Police are telling us the shooting happened around 5:45 this morning near 86th and Zionsville Road. That's on the northwest side of Indy. Investigators believe 3 suspects were trying to rob a couple of people in this area. One suspect got away, but investigators say another person shot one of the suspects when they tried to rob them. That man tonight is in the hospital. Officers are now looking for the other 2 suspects.
Tonight, U.S. Marshals say they've gotten a whole lot of tips on a fugitive who's accused of sex crimes with kids, and it's all thanks to a new reward.
We've learned that this reward was put up by a private citizen, not police. Our Jenny Runovich updates this case from Anderson.
Well, the U.S. Marshals and the Madison County Sheriff, who used to be with the Marshals Service, tell me it is rare to have a reward come from an ordinary citizen. Very rare. We're talking $25,000, all in hopes that this fugitive is finally found.
The accused, Steve Sumner, is a former Madison County councilman and a former pastor in Anderson. He's been on the run since 2023. That's when, while out on bond, he didn't show up for a court hearing on 18 felony charges, including rape and sexual misconduct with a child. Now, the cash that could finally lead to his capture is coming from a regular resident of Madison County. She's put up $25,000 of her own money to get justice, and tips are already rolling in.
I want him brought home I want him tried in front of the people. And I want people to understand elected officials are not, they're not untouchable.
Anytime you put that kind of money out there, reward, it does generate a lot of tips and interest in the case. They'll start talking. Everyone's got a Judas out there. We just got to find them.
So if you have any information on Steve Sumner, where he's been, where he is right now, contact the U.S. Marshals. We have contact information right now at WTHR.com. In Anderson, Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
Developing tonight at 5, a third former IU men's basketball player is joining a lawsuit that involves a former team doctor. And the current team trainer, Tim Garl, is now added to the lawsuit, named as a defendant. The players who were on the team in the 80s and the 90s are accusing the former team doctor, Brad Bomba Sr., of sexually abusing them during medical exams. They're also suing Garl for his alleged involvement. They accuse him of not reporting the doctor's, quote, wrongful conduct. We reached out to IU for comment on the amended allegations today, and a spokesman for the university told 13 News, quote, IU does not comment on litigation. Then they referred us to their statement that they sent back in September on the independent review from last year.
Crews right now are starting to demolish the former Marion County Jail 1. Tonight we're getting our first look at that demolition. The city got the green light to demo that building back in September. It sat empty for a couple of years next to the Julia M. Carson Transit Center. That's over at Alabama and Maryland. It's costing our city about $4 million to demolish the building. City leaders have not yet revealed how they will redevelop that space.
Banning red number 3.
Why the FDA no longer wants this dye in foods consumed here in the U.S. We've got that new for you at 5:30. But first at 5, catching a flight to the College Football Playoff National Championship.
We have the nonstop flights that were just added to and from Indy. Angela.
And you might want to get out of Indy. It is cold here. We're also tracking some snow that's up near Minneapolis. That impacts our weather pattern tomorrow. I'll have the timeline.
We're following breaking news tonight from the Middle East.
The ceasefire deal reached between Israel and Hamas. How some Hoosiers feel about it. That's next.